Okay. Well, all right then, should we get started?
Yes.
Okay, so do we want to approve minutes from the last meeting? Does anyone have questions, corrections?
This is Katie. I'll move that we approve the minutes.
I second that.
All right, second from Elizabeth. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so let's move on then to the second agenda item. Election of chair and vice, or the first agenda item, election of chair and vice chair.
Yes, and this is just done annually. Once each committee has a full commission, we elect a chair and a vice chair. Your current chair is Michelle Phillips and your current vice chair is Meg McCombs.
Do you two fabulous leaders want to continue in your roles?
I will, yes, I will say I would do this again for this
Alright.
term.
I'm fine with staying with it too, unless somebody has a burning desire to do it, then I'm
Yes,
happy. That's
absolutely. If you
fine.
want to be the chair, please step forward.
I'm happy to nominate anyone who would like to take a shot at it. Otherwise, I'm going to nominate Michelle for chair and Meg for vice chair.
Is there a second?
I second that. Or-
Okay. Second by Elizabeth. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, well then let's move on to our next item.
Wait,
public-
are there only 4 of us plus Abby?
There's 5 of us.
There's
Katie?
5 of us?
Meg, Michelle, Elizabeth, and Julia. There are 5.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, I need to figure out how to like see everyone.
You kind of, yeah, when there's more than will fit in the screen, you have to kind of do a scroll every once in a while across the bottom.
Okay, so our second item agenda then is public art master plan addendum. Do we have any new?
No
things to-
updates on this item.
Okay. Shall we move then to number 3?
Yes,
The consideration of endorsement of Erdman sculpture at the intersection of Frank Lloyd Wright Avenue and Glacier Ridge Road in Middleton Hills. Abby and I talked about this earlier because Bob Bartholomew wanted to speak with the committee chair, the arts committee chair, about this project. And so this project is being brought forth by Dan Erdman, and he has a statue that used to be located on at his father's business that he would like to place in the Middleton Hills area because his father developed that subdivision or that area of Middleton, and he wants to put it there in honor of his father. And he has sent an artist rendition of this sculpture, which Abby tells me used to be located on University Avenue. And it is actually quite tall. I think it's 14, is it 14 feet, Abby?
I believe so. That sounds right.
Does everyone know where this intersection is?
I don't really know Middleton Hills very well, but I'm sure that I know Frank Lloyd Wright Avenue. I'm sure it's easy to find.
The businesses,
Pardon me?
it's behind the businesses.
Oh, okay.
Past there, yeah. What's the intersection, Abby? Glacier Creek or Glacier Hill?
It's the intersection of Frank Lloyd Wright and Glacier Ridge, and I am just gonna quickly try to pull up a street view here.
So this sculpture, this property is privately owned by the neighborhood association, and they would be refurbishing it and responsible for its maintenance. What they're really looking for, I think, in accordance with what Abby and I talked about, is just, wanting to know our approval or our input on this sculpture placement. There's the intersection.
So the sculpture would be, there's a small parcel of land here that's owned by the neighborhood association. And I think that it was always planned to have some kind of feature here. I don't know if it necessarily was intended to be a sculpture or a memorial or what exactly, but then the lot behind it is zoned for use as a civic lot. So it's kind of limited in the types of land uses that are permitted on the site. Things like a library or a park or a private school or a public school, those types of land uses would be allowed. And the lot behind here is on the market for sale right now. I think what Dan would like to do is place the sculpture here, which he has taken it to the neighborhood board, and they are generally supportive, but I think will need to send it out to the neighborhood to get the whole neighborhood to take action and vote on it. And he was hoping that if the Public Arts Committee of the city were supportive of it, that he would be able to include that in his letter to the neighborhood.
Yes, and it should be noted also that I talked with Bob Bartholomew today about the concerns from the HOA in the neighborhood, and what I was hearing from him is that they're okay with having a sculpture there. They think that this sculpture does not fit in with the aesthetic of their neighborhood, and because it is mostly prairie and craftsman style houses in that neighborhood. They don't like the color either. They are, according to him, and I can't say that he's speaking for the HOA, but I think he's echoing some of their thoughts. They would be more receptive to the statue if it were a different color. They think the brightness of it is a problem. So these are the things that I talked with him about. I did tell him also that it's on private property. We cannot, we can only make recommendations. We cannot dictate what someone does on their private property. So I don't know what the feel will be in the neighborhood if they go out and they poll everyone. He did make some suggestions for other locations that he thought that this could be placed. And I did remind him that Dan is trying to honor his father. He had suggested that if he wanted to do so, he could, they like the bench, they like the flower bed, maybe he could do a plaque instead. And I told him, we can't dictate what other people do with their property. So anyway, that's kind of the conversation that I had with him, and that's kind of the feel of his HOA.
Michelle, just for clarification, is Bob Bartholomew on the HOA board?
I don't know if he's on the board, but he is a member of the HOA. He lives in the HOA. And as I said, he's not speaking for them. I just think he's echoing the things that were brought up at their last meeting. This is the things they discussed at their last meeting.
I got the sense from speaking with the former alderperson for the neighborhood and also from speaking with Dan Erdman that the review committee, the architectural review committee, I believe it was, for the neighborhood was generally supportive. I do know that there are, I'm sure, some people in the neighborhood who do not support it, but I at least got the sense from speaking with those two at an event we were at together last week that the board itself was generally supportive.
And that may very well be, and he may just be speaking for a handful of people. But there are people that do have concerns about it. So I did want to bring that to everyone's attention. And as Abby had told me previously when I had asked if this was an action item. It's really not. We can endorse it, we cannot endorse it, we can remain neutral. But and maybe this is the first time we're talking about it, so maybe this needs more discussion. But everybody tell me your thoughts on this and how you feel about this sculpture, its placement and its size and so forth. What does everybody think about it?
I personally feel the colors look pretty neutral to me. I also think the shapes are pretty neutral too. I thought it was gonna be like a more organic shape that looks more urban. I don't personally feel like it looks urban. I think it looks pretty contemporary. I love the color coordination, and the maroon deep red color look kind of matches the homes in the area in my opinion. So maybe people will see that it might not match, but it could go with the aesthetic in the neighborhood. So hopefully they'll be receptive. They might not understand the shape exactly. Like I personally don't understand the concept behind it, but I think it looks nice.
Do you know, Abby, is there a concept behind it that you know of?
I think it's just abstract, but I will see if I can find in an email, because I know this has been considered for a while, and I think that there was a better description maybe that was sent to me at one point. So let me see if I can find that.
Okay. Who wants to go next? Who wants to?
I think Katie has her hands up.
Okay,
Or
go
hand
Katie.
up.
Personally, I think it's a great tribute to Mr. Erdman, who designed the entire subdivision. If it's one of his, favorite pieces or one that he liked before, I think it's great. I think that we should endorse it and tell everyone that we're super happy with it. That's my vote. That's my vote. And I love
Okay.
the placement. I think it's a great placement as you enter the residential area, right?
Okay, who wants to go next?
I guess I'll go. I feel pretty neutral about it. I would like to see like an artist statement, but I think Abby brought it up. Part of me is like, well, that's kind of cool because we're getting like, it's like free artwork for our collection. I mean, it's not ours, but like I want more art in the city. So this is a great opportunity to have more art in the city, right? And then we wouldn't even have to deal with the maintenance and stuff of the sculptures that we have to, that we erect. So it kind of seems like a no-brainer, but the shapes of the sculpture, I would like more details on, like, what is this supposed to be? It almost reminds me of like the tube logo, but deconstructed or something. I don't know.
I think it's funny. There's a quote that says, I was sort of hoping that people wouldn't like it immediately.
In the article? I can't remember this.
I see it. It's in like the second paragraph in the left column.
You're gonna have to send this to us, I think. Oh my gosh, it's so small. I need my glasses
Okay. Here, I'll let me do my best. First, let me just explain that this was an email that was sent to the Neighborhood Association Board in April of this
Okay.
year. And it was forwarded to me by Steve Schulfer, who is on the Middleton Hills Architectural Review Committee, and he is not opposed to having the sculpture there. He is a local architect. As it indicates, Marshall Erdman was one of the visionaries responsible for the development of Middleton Hills. It was originally located in front of the Erdman Design offices on University Avenue, just outside of the city of Middleton into Madison. The sculpture is disassembled. Dan Erdman is offering to donate it. He is Marshall's son. He would also provide a plaque with a history of his work and the development of the neighborhood. And he is funding, Dan is in the process right now of restoring it, which is basically like sandblasting and repainting it. So it's got a fresh coat of paint. I would also just note that the Middleton Hills neighborhood is one of the first new urbanist neighborhoods in the country. And it was actually planned by Andre Stwani and Elizabeth Plater-Zyberg, who are basically the architects who created the whole concept of new urbanism. So, I mean, it is a very esteemed and well-planned neighborhood. You can see that this is the building where it was originally located. And this is an article from 1993 in the Cap Times. And it's quoting Marshall Erdman as saying, "I've always felt that the eye, like the mind, should be educated." He was a designer and a builder of medical buildings nationally. He commissioned California artist Bo von Hohenlohe to design this statue, which is called Upreach. It is simple yet striking, though the most striking thing about it may be the future public art that Erdman hopes that it inspires. Beyond architecture, Erdman has had a long time interest in all arts. And so his company has its own department to select and install appropriate works in its clients' buildings. I was sort of hoping that, like the art in our medical buildings, that people wouldn't like it immediately. Erdman says of the sculpture, "I wanted it to be a symbol, a statue, which I hope will be controversial, so that people will put up sculptures beside their own buildings other than ugly signs. But while many might like to emulate Erdman's devotion, it's simply been too expensive until now. Upreach was inspired by the prophesied retreat of South American Indians before the conquistadors. It is constructed of rolled steel plate, 3/16 to 1/4 inch thick, weighs around 3,000 pounds, and is coated with aircraft paints. Still, the piece, originally titled Sculpture Number 2, cost half of what it should have. He contracted directly with the artist and had his own Wanakee metal shop carry out the structural design and construction of the piece. It had to be engineered by his people, says the artist who visited Madison to inspect the finished work. Paul Marx, whom von Hohenlohe, the artist, calls a genius, did the actual construction, and John May carried out the painting. Primarily a graphic artist, this is von Hohenlohe's second sculpture. He attended the California College of Arts and Crafts in Oakland. He currently resides in Santa Barbara. No one will say how much Upreach cost, but Erdman says it was around half of what the dealer would have charged, which the artist says would have been $40,000. So that's what we know.
All right. Well, it is apparently for some drawing some controversy, so I guess it's doing what he had hoped.
Yeah. I like that explanation. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, that was really helpful. Can I be so bold as to move that we support this installation and endorse it?
Did Elizabeth have any comments before we?
I apologize.
Oh, no worries. I like it. I think now knowing that it's called Upreach, that sounds positive. I think that gives it a little context. I love the bench in front of the sculpture. I think it will be a nice area right there by the shopping center. I think it's a good welcoming place for a sculpture. So I agree.
I could see some seniors like sitting in the U shape of it for senior photos or something like that.
I
Even though
thought you meant
they're not going
seniors
to be
like-
allowed to, but they'll do it anyway.
I thought you meant like senior citizens.
No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of like senior photos.
Don't encourage that, Meg. We don't want people like sitting in the U shape, taking pictures.
Oh, you know what? They're going to do it whether you encourage it or not.
Right.
Okay, so Katie, you had a motion on the table.
Yeah, I move that we endorse this installation and support and endorse it.
I'm fine with seconding that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion carries. And you'll keep us updated on the progress of this, Abby?
Yes, so what I will do is I'll take some of the comments that you all made about the sculpture this evening, and I will put those into a letter. And also take some language from our arts master plan, talking about, supporting sculptures on private properties. And then I will put together a letter for Michelle's consideration and for her signature.
Okay, sounds good. Shall we move to number 4? Art Walk event reporting. I don't think that there is much to report right now at this point. Abby did have the final budget totals, and we ended up coming in about $600 under what we took in. So we have about $600 of seed money to get us started next year.
Oh,
So that's good. We did not go over budget. I don't really think we have anything else unless somebody has something they want to discuss about Art Walk. Okay, well, let's move to 5 then, which is the RFQ for the Perimeter Street Trailhead sculpture. And who would like to lead up the discussion on this?
I can just give you a quick update that I still have not heard back from the gentleman at the DOT. I flagged it for him again, so I think that's really the only holdup for sending it out at this point.
Okay. All right, well, then we'll continue to hope that we get that accomplished. So let's go to number 6, then, our maintenance of our collection. As we discussed last month, Self-Made Man's repaired. I know that Julia drove by and checked it out, and I went by and checked it out, and they did a really great job, I think, of repairing it. Have you heard back from Dama for Invisible Work, Invisible Earth?
I have not. I emailed her again, but I have not received any response at all. I did
Okay.
the final invoice for Self-Made Man, so that is fully done, and I'll take that off the next agenda.
And that came in a little bit under budget too, right, Abby?
I believe so, yeah, because I think our insurance payout was just slightly higher. It was based on a different quote.
All right, awesome. Well, I'm glad we have that done. Okay, so special events. Jolene is the one who's been kind of leading that up, and since she's not here tonight, I think we'll just wait until next month for an update. Donor box funding, number 8.
Yeah, so I went in and I deleted the old account that I had set up, and I created a new account, and I got a lot farther using the business model. But then I needed to put in the city's banking information, and I haven't been able to do that because our finance director is away and I have some questions I need to get from him. So I'm still working on it.
Okay, awesome. Sounds like you're making progress. Okay, so then the bus shelters.
Same thing with these. We're still waiting on the shelters.
All right. So I guess then we are next at pop-up art. And so we have some dates for pop-up art that Erin sent out. I don't know what she's still got available. I know that Elizabeth took some. I'm having surgery next week, so I'm like definitely out the first part of August, end of July. But I will probably be able to pick up some later in the year. So I think she still has some available though, if you guys want to sign up for any of them.
And she was down there tonight doing one at 5.
Yeah. And I don't know, perhaps some of our committee members were down there helping her, because I know she was trying to get some volunteers for that tonight.
And Meg, you took care of the one last week, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Really, my daughter ended up running it though, so. We can just get the kids involved, right?
Even better.
I know.
That's great.
She was having a blast gluing stuff together with little kids. Yeah, it was great. Great fun.
We're grooming future arts committee volunteers here.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I was just trying to find if I said those other dates, but maybe she's set.
Can I ask a question about that?
Sure.
For the pop-up arts thing, is there a preset thing that we'll be doing in the August ones? Do you know, or do I talk to Erin about that?
Yeah, Erin's the one who usually does the planning for the projects. Sometimes we just do kind of like a free range kind of thing where we'd give the kids art supplies and let them just kind of create whatever they want.
Our
We
kids love
have
that,
art
open-ended.
supplies.
Yeah,
And in the past, we've found art projects online that we have had examples of that they could do.
okay. Thanks.
It does look like she needs more dates. August 21st, it says she needs 2 for setup and lead. The 23rd, Elizabeth's doing. The 28th, 1 needed for setup, and the 30th, Elizabeth's doing. And then she has October 13th, she needs 2 for a Hunted Pumpkins event. And then December 9th, she needs 2. So there's several other dates that she needs more volunteers for.
Should we just contact her separately, or should we have her send out another email to everyone? What do you think works best?
I think it can't hurt to send out a reminder email and with, updates for the ones that have already been taken and the ones she still needs.
Should I send her a quick note and just have her do that?
Sure, if you want, that'd be great.
Sure.
All right, so pop-up art volunteer opportunities. Any other comments or questions about pop-up art? Well, if not, then let's go to youth center projects. I was just actually thinking about this on Monday and that I need to start booking the artists. I have 4 or 5 from the art walk that were interested.
Oh, good.
Doing something, so again, if any of you want to do a class this session or this school year, let me know. If you want to do something that's a single class or 2 consecutive, they are an hour. You have a little additional time for setup and tear down, but you have an actual hour with the kids. So anyway, I'm gonna start booking those, and I'll confirm with Gabby that we are still doing first Wednesday of the month, from 4 to 5. But that has been our time slot for the last couple of years, so I suppose that we'll probably keep that. So anyway, anybody who wants to do a project with the kids, let me know, and we'll move on from there. They did some really cool stuff this year. I should send some pictures on to you all. They did pottery. Meg did stickers. What else did they do? They did printing, they did cartooning, they did a ton of stuff. So I think it definitely, the kids were more excited about doing the different things this year than one big project. So
Yeah.
next year we're looking for some different things. I'm gonna try to get the I don't know if you all remember from the art walk, the guy who was doing prints on the old editor's press. Anyway, Artworking is the name of their organization. I'm gonna try to get them to come and do something with the kids. So I've got a few people lined up, hopefully, if they wanna commit, but I'm working on that right now, I try to book the whole year so that the kids know what's coming up.
Yeah. I think obviously I'm welcome to help again this year, but why don't I wait and see what your lineup is? And then I'll just fill in where you have like gaps. And then maybe I could come to another one and kind of like poll the kids and see what they're interested in. We could do like tote bags, or we could take the sticker concept and do it on really anything. So just kind of see like, do they want t-shirts with their own artwork on it? I mean, the t-shirts are only like $12 to have them printed. They're really affordable.
Well,
So,
and I think what weren't 10 stickers, wasn't it $10 for 10 stickers or something like that?
yeah,
I mean, it's comparable in price if they wanted to do t-shirts or
yeah. There's so many
hats. probably,
options.
or-
I could have a mug. I mean, I don't know, like we can, maybe I'll join if you're at one of the other ones, and I'll join and we can just kind of talk to the kids and see what interests them.
I could have Gabby ask them or have someone ask them to at the school.
Sure.
Poll them and see what they want to do. But anyway, so yes, that will be kicking up in October and it will be over in May. We don't do the first month of school or the last month of school. It's a little too chaotic during those times. So anyway, all right, well, does anyone have anything else, anything they would like to be added to the agenda next time or? No? Would someone like to move to adjourn?
Sure, I'll move to adjourn. Does anyone want a second? Katie, you're muted.
We want to be in this meeting forever.
We don't ever want to leave. I'll second. I'll second.
All in
Another fast meeting.
Yeah, it was. All right, all in favor?
Hi.
Bye.
Aye. All right, well, thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
you.
Have a great night. It's beautiful
good
out there
night.
right now.
Bye.
Bye, thank you.